Hello everyone, this is Samirin, and this is part 5 of the Advanced Programming in the Toy Box tutorials. And in this part we're going to be dealing with some more advanced stuff with logic gates. We're going to be creating some logic chains and having them control each other and doing a bunch of fun stuff with them. So the basic idea of what we're doing here is over here I've already set up the logic we did from our counters tutorial where we set it up so that 5 enemies would be on the screen at a time. Every time the count went lower than that, we'd spawn more enemies. When we hit 5, we'd stop spawning enemies. So that's all that's set up over there just to save us some time. Now the idea of what I want to do here is I want to design a combo system where there's going to be, if you hit an enemy, there'll be like an invisible time limit of, let's say, 3 seconds-ish. If you kill or defeat another enemy within that 3 seconds, you'll get a combo of 2 more points. If you defeat another one before the time runs out, you'll get a combo of 3. And every time you defeat an enemy, of course, that invisible timer is going to reset to give you the full count again. So we're basically going to build a combo system. And we're going to build a combo system that'll only go up to 5. Now the thing with the logic chain, I think I've discussed it before. We're going to discuss it again. Basically, I want to have 5 different options here. I want to have combo 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Basically, in an if sort of statement, what we're looking at is a very long if statement that is going to go if enemy defeated, then if combo 1, increase score by this much, else, or actually be if logic gate 1 open, increment score by 1, else if logic gate 2 open, increment score by 2, else if logic gate 3 open, increment score by 3, else if logic gate 4 open, increment score by 4, else increment score by 5. So for when you're doing a logic chain, if you have 5 possible choices that you want to be able to send out of this logic chain, you need whatever the number of choices is, minus 1 is how many logic gates you need. Because on the last logic gate you can use the input blocked as one of your choices. Therefore we have output, 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 input blocked. That's 5 choices on 4 gates. So I'm going to hook them all together first with input blocked going into the input of the next one. And that's all this little logic chain is going to be doing, is it's going to be incrementing the score depending on where you are in the combo. So what we really want here is we want an input signal that says when there's an enemy defeated, that's what's going to be the input to this logic chain. Now we want to drop down a scoreboard. Let's put a scoreboard right here. And one thing I always do when I put down a scoreboard now, just because I forget if I don't, is if you don't change this play to from 3, you're going to run into problems when you're trying to test things, and you're going to get confused for a bit as to why it keeps resetting to 0. So I always put it to a number way above what I think I'm going to need, and then I adjust it down if I have to later on in the build. So as we said before, this first logic gate's output is going to increment the score by 1 for player 1. And this one is going to output increment by 2 for player 1. This one is going to be our third combo, which is going to increment by 3. So every time you defeat an enemy in this chain, you get more points for the next enemy you defeat if it's going to be within that time limit, which of course we haven't put in the time limit yet. We're just doing the score incrementing portion in this logic chain. And so for this one, I already did the output of that one. I need the input block to this one to increment by 5. And that's our 5 choices. So what we need is we need a system that when you defeat an enemy, not only is it going to give you the 1 score, but it's going to somehow change this logic chain so that you will automatically go to the next combo, so that the next time you defeat an enemy, it will give you the score for the next combo. And how we're going to do that is with another group of logic gates. Now this isn't technically the way we're using them at first, isn't a logic chain, but we are going to make it a logic chain. I'm putting 5 down, and I'll explain why in a second. But basically, the idea is when we get the first enemy hit and we do the output here, we want the next time an enemy is hit, the output to come out here to increase our score by 2. We'll be at combo 2 after combo 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send a message down to this logic gate below the initial one, tell it to close. And what I'm going to say is when this logic gate closes, I want to close this logic gate. So when output comes out, we increment our score by 1, this logic gate closes, which closes the original logic gate that sent it the signal. So the next time an enemy is defeated, we go out the input block to the next gate where we come out output for a combo of 2. And we're going to keep doing that. We're going to say an output from the next one is going to close this one, and an output from this one is going to close this one, and an output from this one is going to close this one, and the input block is going to close the last one. And if you close that gate, oh, wrong one. If this one closes, we want to close the third gate. And if this one closes, we want to close that final gate. And this last one, we aren't getting any action off when we close it. We are closing it with the input blocked here, but I'll show you why in a second. I'm also going to hook this one up as a logic chain where the input blocked is going to hit the input of the next one all the way across. So now we've set it up so this bottom logic chain, when these bottom logic gates are closing, they are actually fixing the logic chain at the top to then point at the next possible combo if it's happening within the time limit. So what we want here is whenever the time limit runs out, we want to be able to open all these logic gates back up so that you start again at the default combo of 1. So I'm going to say if this first logic gate opens, I'm going to open all the rest in this logic chain. And down here, I'm going to do the same thing. When it opens, it's going to open all the rest. Okay, now we need our timer system. We're going to use a system we used back in our counter tutorial, the one where we were counting up a counter and then sending the target reached. We're going to use the exact same logic, so an open is going to increment that guy, and an output is going to increment that guy. But we're going to set this target count really high. Now, from lots of testing, I know that a value of about 40 is about 1 second. So I'm going to set the value to about 100 for now. We'll test that out. We're not going to show the display. We do want to reset on target reached. We'll say when target reached, we want to close this guy. Now, also, when target is reached, we want to reset this combo system. But this bottom chain is going to be telling us how high we got in the combo. So not only is it controlling the top one, it's also going to be being used to tell us how high we climbed in that combo. So when the target is reached, when we've finished this timer system, we're going to send an input to this system. Now this first one only closes when the player's been hit, when one combo's been hit. So if this guy receives a message and nothing's been hit, it will come out the output, and that means we don't want a message. We don't want any message at all. We only want a message if this guy is closed. So if this guy's closed and this guy's open, that means a combo of 1. So we're just going to send outputs to this text displayer. And I've already put the text in there just to save a bit more time. And that will be text 2. And this guy is going to be text 3. And this guy is going to be text 4. And this guy is going to be text 5. Now, also, I want an output to reset that logic from all of these gates. So if a signal comes out, after the signals come out, I want to reset the logic for this combo display. And also from input block to the last guy. Now there's a few more things we have to do here. We have to say that when an enemy is defeated, we want to open this logic gate to start that timer up. So we don't, not only do we send an input to here to start the combos, we also want to open this to start the countdown going. But when an enemy is defeated, if that countdown is already going, we want it to start again from scratch. So we want to reset this counter back to 0, so it has to count all the way back up to 100 again. So that's how we're resetting this little system every time we defeat an enemy. So let's see, what else do we need to do here? When invites are accepted, I want to reset that guy. Let's connect him up to the challenge maker. I've already set up this challenge maker so that it will start the enemies generating, but that's all I've done with the challenge maker. So when I defeat a first enemy, I should start the combo. I should get 1 point. If I defeat another enemy before this timer runs out. Now, alright, let's give this a try actually. We'll see what happens. Alright, so just before I was about to test, I've realized I forgot just a couple things that might be a little crucial. On the counter here, in the counter tutorial, there was one very important connection of count change. Because if we don't attach a count change to the input of this logic gate, the circuit won't loop, so nothing's ever going to happen there. And also, just for safety's sake, with the challenge maker here, let's set it up so the invites accepted are going to open the combo system logic chain at the top, and are also going to open the combo display system at the bottom. And then we will give this an honest try and see how it works. So we'll step on the challenge maker and we're going to see what happens. Get our countdown, get our enemies spawning. Okay, so we're seeing the message pop up. I think I've actually turned the counter down too low now. So let's end this challenge real quick. Set this back to... let's set it to 90. Alright, now we're going to step on here. As we saw, it was showing us the 1 defeated, 2 defeated, but the counter was going by so fast that it wasn't giving us enough time in between defeating enemies to actually get a decent combo going. Okay, so there's one enemy. Oh, okay. Let's see what kind of... There, we got a 5+ combo there. We got our maximum combo that time. So that time we did it. This time I think we just got 3. Yeah, 3 defeated. And let's go for 2 maybe here. No, we got 1. Let's see if that was 1 as well. That one guy. Ah, there we go. There was a 2. And this will probably be a 1. So there we go. What we have is a combo system that is actually tracking how many enemies we defeat within a certain time period. And there we got a 3, I think. Yeah, 3 defeated. And so that's one of the things you can do with some interesting connections of logics. We're basically using one logic chain on the top, and the logic chain on the bottom is doing 2 things. It's controlling the logic gate on the top, but it's also letting us know, or letting us display to the player, what combo they actually reached, because it knows exactly where the logic chain on the top is currently set. So, and again, that's some more advanced uses of logic gates that we can use in Disney Infinity. I hope this has been helpful. Again, this has been Cimmerian, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.